Hey everybody, welcome to the brand new The CB Baker Show. Thank y'all so much for joining me. This is the first official episode of the CB Baker Show where we're kind of transitioning from Conquering Dreams over to the CB Baker Show to be more general and capture more people. We're here in the great old 757 Hampton Roads area, and I got a longtime friend of mine, Al Matthew, and boy, we've been hanging tough for a minute now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so he hit me up. Man, bro, you hit me up he said, look, I got this deal. I'm over in Williamsburg selling timeshares and I can't stand it. But I got my man hooked me up I got to show you this.
Absolutely.
Then we find our schedules and stuff was all jacked up. Mm-hmm. So we finally got together. My man showed me everything and I was like, whoa. And he was like, yeah, and I get a check right then. They ain't like in Williamsburg selling timeshares. Well, I'm sitting around waiting on my money.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about the sales, because that's essentially what market y'all are in, in sales. And a lot of times for people, they want to do a side hustle or a main hustle, and they go into sales. Mm. And he was telling me about my 10X band, and it's like Grant Cardone always says that, if you're good at sales, you will always have a job.
Absolutely. Right? Absolutely.
Right. So what got y'all into sales?
Well, to start that off, I don't want to say I was kind of forced into it, but, just from other situations, not being able to pursue that exactly. A friend of mine actually came to me with my previous employer as well, doing the timeshare thing. He showed me how much money he was making. At first, I was like, sales, I don't know if that's my route.
Right.
But, as you mentioned, sales is an everyday part of life, no matter what you do. So, and a lot of people don't realize that, but once you put that in perspective, it's like, well, why not add that to my repertoire as far as, working wise and, just making a living out of it, because at the end of the day, you get a chance to write your own check, and that's the whole point of it all. So that was a better part of it.
So now you brought some heat with you. So introduce your partner over there.
Well, this is my partner, Mr. Sean Crippen. He's the guy that actually got me into this line of work. So he brought everything to my attention, came to my house, laid everything out, and I said, man, and the funny thing about it, that's not even why I hit him up for in the first place. Mm-hmm. My boss, where I was working at before, mentioned something about insurance. And I said, okay, so I knew that was his line of work. So I was picking his brain a little bit about it. And I didn't know I was being recruited. But I'm glad that he did that. So, it was a blessing. Absolutely.
So how you get in sales?
So as far as for me, I kind of, I've always looked at the network marketing side, how people try to gain income on the side. I started off like that with a few different companies, Legal Shield, Organic Gold, those just to name a few. But we're always selling. In life, life is sales. You sell, you market yourself, or one thing that I love is movies. You're always marketing movies, giving referrals to movies, so we're always selling. One thing that got me into the insurance industry, particularly final expense, is that it's unlimited income. One thing that's going to happen is people always are going to unfortunately die. Yes. So why not provide a service that can help families out in their worst time of need? Because a lot of times people are getting I won't like to say taken advantage of, but they're not knowledgeable about the funeral side. So we like to basically teach them about that, and also teach them the differences in insurance as far as when it pertains to age groups, because people are kind of falling into traps with the difference between term and whole life insurance. So.
Right. So let's back up a little bit. Let's talk about multi-level marketing. Okay, so multi-level marketing is basically almost like a 4-letter word in some areas, especially in this area after 5 links came through here. And basically like just ruin this whole area for multi-level marketing.
Yeah, I could think of one name in particular when it comes to that, but he's a good guy, though.
Right. Yeah, I think we know we're talking about the same guy. So, and he's a good dude, and he did well. But it's like, how do y'all get around that when you like recruiting people? How do you get around that negative stigma on multi-level marketing?
Well, one thing I would say is I kind of take it as a learning experience. All the things that I gain from that, it helps me out with my day-to-day as far as for sales, just whether it's just talking to people, being able to approach somebody. That one thing in network marketing, you can't be afraid to approach people because unfortunately, network marketing, they gain their income from people. With the insurance agent, we gain our money from actually sitting down and selling the product, and that's the difference. But I mean, yeah, I think everybody, if you've gotten into multi-level marketing, you've been rubbed the wrong way. Just getting in the atmosphere, seeing how things played out for yourself. Some people had success, but it always seemed like one person was eating and everybody else was kind of like collecting the crumbs, basically.
Right.
So, I can see why it puts a bad taste in people's mouth. Sure.
Yeah. I know it puts a bad taste in my mouth. I've tried multiple of them, but unless you're willing to be worrisome, and then have people literally look at you like, oh Lord, here you go.
There you go.
Right. Friends and family right. Pestering them to death. Can't even go to the cookout no more. They're like, what he's selling now.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
And now, how do y'all handle y'all's pipeline when it comes to sales? Because one thing that when people talk about with sales is the pipeline and the starts. You go from the closest to you, then branch out. And that's where the network marketing teaches you the same thing. That's why you end up wearing out the people that's at the cookout that you see all the time, because that's what they're telling you. So how do y'all handle y'all's pipeline? Where do y'all start at?
So basically, we do tap into warm market first. That's just typically to get you just to hear the presentation being done, because once you're a brand new agent coming in, you've never really physically heard the presentation done. Two, we also know that a lot of families, the statistics are crazy for how many people do not have final expense burial insurance after age 50 or any type of life insurance period. So we do tap into your warm market, that's what we call it. And then what our system is, we actually have leads where people may receive something in the mail, or they go on our website, or they actually see one of our commercials on TV, and we actually, they call in for it. So it's not, now we don't have to pester anybody.
Right.
They're requesting the information, so we literally just go and present the information. If they like what they see, we'll make the sale, and then we'll also ask them for people that they know. Because like I said, the statistics as far as, 66% of people do not have the correct type of life insurance in the range between 50 to 85, is astronomical. So we try to make sure that people have the correct type of life insurance. Yeah,
life insurance, I will say, is almost as confusing as taxes.
Yes.
And, you talk to somebody, and unless you're willing to sit there and actually really pay attention, it's almost like you have to have somebody go over with you like 3-4 times before you realize what you're actually getting.
Mm-hmm. That's great.
And I feel like at some points the people that sell insurance prey on that.
Absolutely.
So what do y'all do to make sure that y'all not lumped in that same category with everybody else, the fly-by-night people that's out here selling cut rate insurance as the people say on TV?
With us, it's mainly because we focus on one product. I think that kind of do away with the the confusion and trying to flim-flam somebody.
Right.
We're just one straight product. It's not you could get this added to it, or maybe just final expense. It's just one. We perfect one type of product, and that way it alleviates all of the confusion from anything else. And we stand by that product because it is a whole life policy, and of the extra services that we provide, along with you being a client of ours. So we try to help people and combat those type of people that try to finagle a situation, so to speak. So,
Right.
And I'm kind of add to that as well too, because in the house when we sit down with a senior, I pride myself on explaining the difference in between the two.
mm-hmm.
So I'll put that out for the masses. So the two major ones are term and whole life. And anybody over age 50, I tell people once you hit 45 to 50, you need to go ahead and switch from term to whole life. Term insurance is just another fancy way, a basic way of saying mortgage protection. So you get your term policy to cut if you have small children or if you have a house, you get that for mortgage protection. But what the problem is happening is that they're preying on people over age 50, because here's the thing. They might send you something in the mail. I'm not naming any companies, but they may send you something in the mail to say, hey, we'll give you $30,000 for $25. It sounds great.
Right.
But what they're not telling you is every 5 years, it's going to keep jumping up. And the worst part of it all, let's say you've been paying this thing, you turn 80 years old or to 85, they send you a letter in the mail, say, hey, thanks for being a customer, but we can no longer insure you.
Right.
All that money you spent is gone. You don't even get one red cent back. So that's term in a nutshell. Now, whole life lasts you your whole entire life. And as you pay on it, it builds cash value. And also, let's say you turn 100 years old and you're still living, you could say, hey, because you don't have to pay anymore after that, because that's when the policy will mature. You can say, send me my money, and they'll send you whatever your face amount is. So, easy way to remember that I say this to all my seniors, is terminate whole life. That's the easiest way to remember.
Right.
I've had some companies say like, buy term is better than whole.
Right. Buy
term and invest the difference. But how can you invest the difference when it doesn't build cash value? Most people aren't disciplined to buy, like, okay, let's say you got a term policy that's $25 and a whole life that's $40. Most people aren't disciplined at $25 to invest the remaining income in an investment.
Right.
So they're just getting it because they're like, okay, that's $25.
Mm-hmm.
They're not investing anything. Why not get you the whole life policy, which is going to stay that same rate, whatever age you come, it's going to stay that same rate. So you're 80, but you're paying the same rate of a 40-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's a lot of misleading things out here.
Yeah, a lot of people assume insurance is insurance. Hey, I got that already.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, what do you have? I don't know. My wife handles that.
Yeah.
And I try to tell people all the time, like, it's important to know exactly what you have.
Right.
Because when it's too late, it's too late. There's no reverting back, trying to correct your mistakes because you're already, passed away. So, you don't want to do that to your family. You don't want to be a burden to your family. And it's all about, just having some type of protection. Financial support rather, when you're no longer here, because, that was your opportunity.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's dive into the successfulness of this, because this is a business show. And how's your lifestyle? Just a side hustle thing, main hustle? Like, what is it for you all?
This is it.
This is it.
I'm not touching anything else. One thing that I've noticed, I've been doing this for 3 years. I went from, before this, I owned my own coffee shop, and I also worked for Virginia Department of Transportation. What happens with this opportunity, we actually get paid residuals. So not only do we get the advance commission from the initial sale, but every time they pay their premium, we also get a portion of that. So essentially, every time you write a sale, you're giving yourself a raise. And I just remember working at Virginia Department of Transportation, and the state just screaming about a raise, and they just threw us a little 3% raise. And I laugh because I'm like, man, I give myself a raise every day I make a sale.
Right.
And not only do we get the sale, but because we're simplified whole life and it's issued right away, we get paid the next day.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like, because one thing that happens, bills come every day.
Right.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
You're not getting somebody that sent you an email.
Right.
I was just about to say something just popped up on my phone.
I mean, it's bills don't stop coming.
Right.
So it gives me the ability to basically, if something, if there's a fire, I got a fire extinguisher. I am the bank. I literally can write myself to be able to handle anything.
Mm-hmm.
But, since within the 3 years, I've built a residual income check that pays my mortgage and my car payment and some small bills. So that's one side of it. But then also you have the agency building side, where you do have the ability to bring in other agents. And then, you also get overrides from that income as well when they write business. But I pride myself in just seeing success in people that I bring in. Like, I literally can take somebody from, have no sales experience, never even, because none of us ever woke up. I went to college. I went to Virginia State. I never even thought any, like, far as,
you got to throw that in there.
I never woke up and said, hey, I want to sell final expense and life insurance. Like that wasn't a dream of mine. But now that I'm here, I'm making the best of it. And, it's just, I just really love seeing people come into this thing, and I'm taking them from square one and then just watch their life progress. And like I said, 3 years, but this is for life. The people that I'm in here with, we've done other things together, but like I said, it was always somebody at the top making all the money.
Right.
And we were collecting from now, everybody's eating. Right. And that's what it's about.
Now, the one thing I will say, selling this type of whole life insurance on a scale of 1 to 10 on the sexiness level is about a 3. So how do y'all get around that aspect of it? Was it hard to wrap your head around it? Like, okay, I'm going, like you said, when you were Virginia State, you weren't thinking, I'm going to sell, whole life insurance. Like, boy, I can't wait to sell whole life insurance. So I know you didn't say that. No. So what is the main selling point to get somebody that's literally, they're in a cubicle and they got a college degree, doing what they're doing, but they're only making $35,000, $40,000 a year, and they're looking like, Lord, this can't be it. What do you say to them to get them to come out of that predicament that come over to sell whole life insurance with you all?
Well, one thing I would say is, when you just look at, especially our generation, how you're looking at the retirement structure. When I first came into VDOT, they didn't even have 401ks anymore. They had this thing called the 457 comp plan. Well, when I left VDOT, the guy, he asked me, because I took my savings and I moved it to an IRA. The guy asked me, say, you sure you want to do that? Because if you come back to the state, you're not even going to have your same plan. It's going to be called the hybrid system, which, they're basically adding less to, you put up $1, they're adding pretty much pennies to that dollar.
Right.
So from a retirement aspect, because a lot of times, you see what's happening to the seniors right now. Our generation, I don't think it's going to get any better. I think it's going to get a lot worse.
Of course.
So I always approach it from that aspect, because literally, like, I've seen people in their 60s come into this and quadruple what they're getting from their pension and Social Security. So it's like, that's in their 60s, they started this thing.
Right.
I'm about to turn 36 this month. So I'm like, by the time I hit 40, 42, I'm done. I can retire at 42. A lot of people can't say that.
Right.
And that's just from putting good business on the books, building other people up, and then also just having a heart. I love the fact that you can take this and go sit down with a senior and pour your heart out to them and basically show them, hey, because I'm your agent for life, and that's how I train everybody. I went to my clients' funerals. When they die, I'm there, because I want to make sure that not only did I sit down with you on this day, I came back, I hand-delivered my policy. I came back, I sent you cards for your birthday. I came back, and on that last day that you take your last breath, I'm there to help your family through the process. So it's not just, the level of sexy. I think I might have just increased it a little bit. But, it just, as far as, just because there's some people out here that just love helping people.
Right.
I've kind of listened to some of your work, and a lot of that's a common thing with entrepreneurs. They like to help people. And if you have that in your heart, definitely, this is any line of entrepreneurs is good for you to go there, because a lot of people, The biggest thing, they're just afraid of taking that leap of faith.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to go from hourly to salary to just 100% commission because I can't sell. That's some people that I talk. I can't sell, and I'm like, you're saying you can't because not willing to try, but a lot of times you're selling every day and don't even know.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. You either sell or getting sold.
There you go.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's. You mentioned something. Basically, the follow up. And one of the crucial components of sales is the follow up. And as research has been done that you most likely don't get a sale unless you followed up at least 12 times. Mm-hmm. So give me your strategy on the follow up. How do y'all follow up?
I'm definitely, he's great at following up, man. I'm gonna give that to him.
Well, I mean, I guess, a lot of my career I did collections. And, in the banking and, collections for different companies. So, yeah, following up is very important in that field. And it's just building that rapport, so you don't feel like you're harassing someone, but yet you you're just following up on the business. So, yeah, I don't really have an exact system. It's just that, I reach out to you and, once we do a presentation and you give me your response, pertaining to whatever your response was, is how I handle the situation. Now, I do stress that it's very important that, if you did get approved not if you got approved, but if you got approved for our coverage, mm-hmm. How important it is to seize the moment and take advantage of it because anything can happen in the meantime. So, you have that on your side when you stress that level of urgency because at the end of the day, we don't know when we're going to perish. And, it's just that unknown factor to why you should take advantage of something like this right away.
So is your follow-up really like a follow-up / close at each moment?
If you did not at that time, absolutely. Absolutely. Of course, the goal is to do it the first time around. But, most people, I don't want to say most, but a lot of people don't tend to. It's always that. I don't want to give in so fast. It's not even that they don't think that it's a good product or worth even having. Some people just don't allow themselves to
process.
Yeah, exactly. Or I don't know if it's like they don't want to be submissive. I don't know. I'm not sure, but a lot of people don't feel comfortable, even if they have the money in their pocket right now, to follow through with it for whatever reason. I don't know why or why not. But it's always that to why, you follow up with people and it gives them time to process, as you just mentioned. And, they come to terms with themselves and say, well, you know what, maybe this is something to my benefit. Absolutely.
And then also, too, like, I had a situation that kind of put fire under my butt for the follow-up. I had a lady, I sat down with her and her daughter down in Hopewell, Virginia, and I sat down with them. Went through the whole process, got a rates, even got the signature. All I needed was the banking information so that I could go ahead and process everything. Well, kept following up with the mother. Every other month, still got nothing. I called back last December and I talked to her. She was like, Sean, you didn't hear? I was like, no. She was like, yeah, my daughter was shot and killed by Hopewell police. Just blew my mind. I'm sitting in bed crying. I had to look it up, sitting in bed crying because I'm like, I felt like I didn't do my job. Even though I did, but that girl she was first day coverage too.
Right.
So had that happen, her mom at least would have not have to do a GoFundMe page or a fish fry, bake sales to try to raise money to bury her daughter through that tragic situation. Because the program basically gives the family time to grieve while we handle everything else.
Right.
So that's the importance of following up.
Yeah. So that definitely will change the whole dynamic of things. Something like that happening.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So have you had anything something like that happen?
Well, I wouldn't say as extreme, but no, I would say that. Unfortunately, yeah, I did. Just recently, a close friend of mine, her father passed away. And, we haven't even had this conversation yet. But, from the information that I did get so far, we definitely would have been an extreme, help to that entire matter. But he was a smart guy, so I'm not saying that he didn't have anything altogether.
Right.
I'm sure his particular example, she probably didn't even have anything lined up. But she was the only child. I've been around the family all the time, and he's a smart guy, so he had stuff in order for his family. That I'm sure of. But it's just still like, as far as from what we do, as far as handling that final expense, I'm pretty sure we would have, been an asset to herself and the rest of the family.
So how do y'all handle that aspect of the business that y'all are doing, which is being there really at the end of the life cycle? Like you're past middle age, now you're at the twilight years, you're dealing with people in the twilight years, and they can get the insurance, like you said, you go to the funerals. You can end up going to a lot of funerals. Does that weigh on you mentally sometimes? Or you're doing that in this industry? Kind of like the people it's similar to the people who work at funeral homes.
That's correct.
So is it, do you
people even assume that a lot of the time. Yeah. They look at my tag saying, what is that? Oh, funeral. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Right.
I would say it, it's like, especially when those are like those, because you build relationships with these people.
Absolutely.
You don't just come in. It's hard to come to somebody's house, a complete stranger's house, and get their social, and get a check from them, and not build any type of rapport. So some people, you sit down. I got a client that calls me almost every day.
And I've even seen, I'm like, oh my gosh. Yeah. But
but it's like she like, you're like the son I never had. Like, we built relationships.
Right.
So when somebody leaves, I've gotten calls and I'm sitting and the door is completely gone. I'm crying because of the relationship that we built.
Right.
Far as just through the process of me keep seeing them, because anytime there's an issue, I'm coming back to see you. Anytime there's, I've been invited to barbecues, parties. So it's not like we're a little bit different from the traditional insurance man, basically. We're more of like, we become family. So, keep seeing people, your clients die. The one plus about it is at least we put something in place.
Right.
And it counters the family sitting there arguing, getting ready to, fist fight in the funeral home.
Yeah.
Coming to blows. We canceled all that out because we put a plan in place, and now they have the ability to, all the funeral has to do is basically do the plan.
Right.
So it hurts, but at least I know we helped, basically.
So y'all killing all the drama that's happening.
Pretty much.
Absolutely.
Mama said I can have China Caddy.
Right.
So
yeah.
So this sounds like a great industry to get into. We talked about the last time I did a show with Tawanda Walker. We're talking about trucking, how people just didn't really stand trucking. This is another industry where you see people that sell insurance, but you don't really know what's going on behind the scenes.
Exactly.
And I like the presentation that Al had gave me. I said, wow, this is actually, decent. Like if you stuck in a job and you trying to get out of it, this is something that you really can pursue and follow the plan and make some money.
That's right. And right away too.
Yeah.
Sure.
So briefly, give me a brief synopsis of what I'm getting if I join the team.
Okay. First of all, leadership. That's one thing that we pride ourselves in. From the bottom to the top, we're all speaking the same things. And if you're not, you'll get exposed very fast if you try to stray away from the system. Because system, save yourself time, energy, and money. If you stick with the system, then everything will fall in place for you. If you try to step out, you'll find out you're going to want to jump back in very fast. It's broken down from, you come in, we actually give you the study guide to actually study to know the knowledge on the test. Boom, you get there. You do your background check, you pass your state exam, and from there, we're going to send you to what we call our boot camp. Now, you're going to go away for 3 days, do your training, You come back, you hop in the car with a field trainer, which I'm one of the main field trainers right here within the Virginia area. There's a few of us, but once we get you to that point, then once you feel like you're ready to go, most insurance companies just hand you a contract, slap it in the butt, and say, "Hey, go sell." Right. And that's why a lot of people have a bad taste about insurance as a whole, like as become an insurance agent. Mm-hmm. But with us, we literally nurture you through the system as like a newborn baby until you feel like, okay, I got this. I mean, I watched Al from day one to now, and he's a savage now. Like I just sit back and just smile like what I done created here. So I mean, and that a lot of the tools he already had from his previous sales background, but he's flourishing now.
So what kind of ongoing trainings do y'all do?
Well, within our system, we do training maybe once every 2 weeks, just about. Mm-hmm. With the team that I'm on, we go to Richmond. We have a monthly orientation up there. Soon, hopefully, we would be expanding that. I'm not, so just because, anyway. But yeah,
I know what you're going to say. Yeah. I mean, it is a bit much to keep driving to Richmond.
That's right.
Now on 64 and dealing with that traffic.
And when you have so much potential in this area alone, mm-hmm. So that's our next step as far as having our own little hub here, because it is very populated and it's a lot of potential. And, to have something going on here, and we continue to grow. But as far as the orientation in Richmond, we do training there. We have our phone calls Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. And that's from the entire company. Mm-hmm. So, we have training on an ongoing basis. And sometimes it may seem a bit redundant, but sometimes you need that to hear it repetitively, and then when you grow and you have your different experiences, some stuff makes more sense to you as far as what it was being told. It's similar to you watching a movie as a kid, but when you watch that same movie as an adult, right? Some things resonate with you a little bit differently. So it's the same thing as far as getting that continuous training. So to answer your question. On the phone, we have our conference calls, and we do have our face-to-face training, and maybe, like I said, about once every 2 weeks. Yeah, absolutely.
So, is there anything else you'd like to bring up before we close out?
As far as just like if you want to become an entrepreneur, and let's say you're sitting behind a cube like I was, or you're in an industry that you just can't stand it. I always encourage people, take that step. I mean, you just never know what's inside of you. I mean, I've seen people that you could look at. There's a guy in our company that's in his late 60s that was the number one agent through the whole company, 49 states. Wow. Right out of South Carolina. In his late 60s. Outrode all us. Yeah, we think spring chicken. Now he killed all of us. So you never know what your potential is. If you have that fear, just take that step, because unfortunately our education system doesn't teach us to work for ourselves. They teach us to work for someone else. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's through any level of education is always get the job, not build your own here. We all have that too. God's given us all basically talents, and if you don't tap into your talent, you literally you're wasting time.
So how do we get in contact with you all if we want to join the team?
Okay, so Albert Matthews, he's down here in the Tidewater area.
Well, my email address is amatthewsinsurance@gmail.com. My office number is 757-504-2114. Feel free to contact me and we could go from there.
And then me, I'm Sean Crippen. My insurance, as far as my email is scrippeninsurance@gmail.com. And my number is 804-592-1255.
All right. Thank y'all for joining the show, and thank y'all for listening. This is your host, CB Baker. Till next time.